Good evening, and thank you all for attending the Historical Architecture Review Board meeting of May 9th, 2023. It's 6:05, and I'd like to call the meeting to order and get to the first order of business, which is approving the meeting minutes of March 14th. I hope everybody has had a chance to read them.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
Thank you. There was one, as far as comments go, I noticed at the end it said that it refers to a request from the HARB. I think maybe as we add that kind of information, that it could be attributed to a certain date for the minutes, so that anybody reading the minutes can go back and then check what actually was decided at that point. I don't think it gets in the way of approving the minutes, but in terms of understanding it might. So Mike Kirk, if when you read them, if you see that kind of thing happening, you might want to add, it could be in parentheses because it's really not part of the minutes, but it's something that helps understanding it.
Okay.
So if nobody else has any comments, let's have a vote. For all in favor of approving the minutes, raise your hand, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, minutes are approved unanimously, and we can move along to the next order of business. Do we have any presenter from the business? So this is signage for 1790 Yardley Langhorne Road. I guess that's
It's Trombino Hair. They were before us a couple of years ago. He wants to rebrand his business and change the name.
okay. So that's the next question.
Doug, is this for you?
Yes, this is me speaking. Thank you.
Oh, great. All right. We were hoping for some information about the project to clarify what was going on, and if this is Mr. Trombino.
Yes, this is Doug Trombino speaking.
Okay, if you would like to make a presentation about what the signage is for and what you're asking.
Yeah, sure. The sign I'm looking to, I'm rebranding my business because I feel like my business has evolved into something more than what it was, what I started. I started the business with just myself, Trombino Hair Company. I wasn't expecting it to grow as quickly and as well as it has. And I feel like the rebranding of my name is helping my business evolve. It's going to help my employees feel comfortable in working for, a business necessarily, and not necessarily for somebody. So I feel like changing the name of my business helps me grow within the barbers that I have, and it also keeps them happy. I'm also interested, I would like to remove my name from the business because I have, young kids in the areas growing up in the Pennsbury School District. And I just prefer to keep my name away so they can have, a good, clear upbringing. Not like, hey, I go to Trombino, I get my hair cut with your dad. I'd like for them to have their own identity. Also, another major reason why I'd like to change my sign is because from Yardley Langhorne Road, you cannot see my sign. It looks pretty much just like a blur. You can only see it from basically up close. With the new design that I have for my sign, it's clearly visible from Yardley Langhorne Road. And I feel like the design is is very tasteful, and I feel like it's a good fit for the community and for the neighborhood within. I had quick clearance from Cam Trolio, my landlord. He liked the logo, he liked the sign, and I'm just waiting on your approval. Please.
Well, we're glad to hear that you're doing so well. Hopefully
Thank you.
everybody has that kind of thing to report. In Mike Kirk, in terms of size and this has already been applied to the building, I see. Yes?
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Okay. Mike, is there any problem with the size or anything like that?
No.
Okay. There's that other barber pole thing that I don't quite understand. Could you explain that, please?
Barber pole. I don't have anything within a barber pole, just within the barber pole that's going to be on my sign. Is that what you're asking for?
Mike, you included that with what you distributed to us? Can you explain? Mike Kirk?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You included a barber pole cut. It looks like a logo. And is that supposed to be installed someplace on the project, or do you have any more information about that? Why it was distributed with?
You'd have to ask the owner. He sent that to me.
I see.
So, basically the black sign is going to be removed and the white sign is going to be added. The white sign is, the black sign is existing now and the white sign is not made yet.
Oh, so you're saying
Just
the Trombino
changing
sign
signs.
is currently there. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
And this white sign is going to be in place of that on the
Correct.
side of the building next to the window.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
That clarifies
Sorry
things.
for
a
any
bit.
confusion.
Okay. So the orientation of the sign is going to be quite significantly different.
Yes, sir.
Vertical rather than horizontal. Well, let me ask for comments from the members of the board who are on with us, and when we can have some further discussion if necessary.
Is there any way that somebody can show that online? The drawing of the sign?
Mike, is that something that you can share, or is that do I need to share it?
Let me see if I can do that real quick.
Okay.
I got a new tablet and I'm still sort of kind of learning it.
I can hear you.
Okay. Can the members of the board see this sign?
Yes, that's great. Is there a way you can also show the sign within the building? Or is in the same screen, or would that be possible?
Are you looking for the new sign that he wants to put up?
Mike, I think the question is, how is that going to appear on the side of the building?
Right.
In what orientation? What's the spacing? how it relates to the windows.
Right.
Doug, were you given any further information with that that view that the picture represents, that elevation, and how it's supposed to be attached, what the spacing is going to be? Doug, I think that's kind of like the question
Facing from the
that's
window.
on everybody's mind.
Okay, so I was hoping that sign would be 5.5 feet wide by 7 feet long. Do you guys have the image with where I put the new image on the side of the building?
I have that shown.
We can, yeah, we can see that.
So that will be approximately to size what you would be seeing from the road. I measured the window, and I made 5.5 feet by 7 feet, and I made that sign on the image I sent, with the sign attached to the building.
Well, we don't have that.
Um,
We have the old sign next to the window, and that's the only image that we have been able to see with the information that's been sent.
okay, can I quickly send this to somebody?
You can email to me if you'd like.
Okay. Can you share your email, please? Mike?
It's Mike K at lmt.org.
Mike@lmt.org.
So while that's happening, I'd like to know if the proposed sign is the same size as the existing sign, it's just being turned 90 degrees.
No, so the old sign is, let me get those measurements. Okay, so the old sign is hanging horizontally. It is 6 feet wide by 3 feet tall. That is there currently, 6 feet wide, 3 feet tall. And the new one, I'm hoping it be hung vertically, 5.5 feet wide, 7 foot tall.
Can you all see that image?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have a dimension on the size of the window, or the height of the window?
I do. The window is 36 inches wide, and
5 feet high.
I'm here right now, so let me get my tape. The window is 4 foot 3 inches tall,
Ooh,
51 inches tall.
and 3 feet wide.
Yeah, I'm going from outside of the framework, it's 46 inches, almost 4 feet wide.
Mm-hmm. Okay, comments, members?
Well, I have a question. Is there any particular reason why the original or this sign, they are that high, that elevated? They are all
I'm
the
on
way
the
on
second
the
floor.
floor?
My
What-
business is on the second floor.
Is there any particular reason why the sign is all the way up there rather than being a little lower?
Is this for the
The new sign,
original?
the new sign.
Well, my business is on the second floor,
Uh-huh.
and it basically is where the second floor stands, is where the sign is hung.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, if it's 7 feet
Also-
tall, the interior space is probably about 8 feet, maybe 8.5 or even 9, but it's about the same height as the floor to floor or floor to ceiling height in that space, correct?
Can you repeat that, please?
The sign is almost the same height as the space inside your barbershop.
I have 13-foot ceilings, cathedral
Oh.
ceilings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I had no idea, but okay.
Yeah.
In terms of the outside, I would say that the increase in size certainly has a greater impact on that facade and maybe an overwhelming impact. You know, signs are great, and when they overwhelm things, though, maybe it becomes a little bit of a problem. Historically, most of the time they would do things kind of proportional, maybe to windows or doors or something like that. In this case, because of the increase in size, there might be some problem. Certainly related to the window right next to it, it's pretty overwhelming. Maybe if there were a window box with flowers underneath it, it might not be so bad. But right now, that's my input. Jen?
Oh, gosh. I understand what he's trying to do. It is overpowering. I've been trying to imagine a blade sign with like a B at the top of the striped pole so that we can make this more linear. And if we could hang it on the corner above our pent roof, that door entrance. Where's the entrance to the second floor? Is it the door we're seeing with the steps, or is it the front?
Yep, the door, that's my entrance.
Okay.
Is right where you see a barber pole.
Okay. Yeah, that is very, you can barely tell that's a barber pole. I was thinking about capturing a blade sign above that roof, that little porch roof, and having something more vertical in that location. And maybe we don't have room to put Barberino, but we could have a big B at the top and the
Yeah,
bottom.
That's not the name of my business.
Yeah, I know. I'm just, Steve's idea of shrinking this in height, if you keep it on the face of the building in this manner, trying to figure out how to make it look intentional with the design of the building.
Yeah, I can understand the purpose of the owner, Jen, because I went by it today and took a look back there, and from Yardley Langhorne Road, it's kind of hard to see. And if you bring it in closer to the steps, if you do drop the height of the top of the sign lower, it's going to be maybe occluded by the jut out that happens in that one little extension that sticks out from the main wall where the sign is hung. You know what I'm saying? That corner sticking out there would occlude the sign from some angles on the road. So I can certainly see the point. What if you went back to a more horizontal sign and put it, because of the white background, is certainly going to get a greater impact from the road. So maybe that can be, Barberino could be extended horizontally with a barber pole that's 4 feet high at one end.
Yeah, could have been sort of like a cutout rather than having all that white background.
I thought of that too. I was taking my cursor and basically drawing a soft radius, taking all 4 corners out.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
just
want,
like cut out all the pole and the letters. Would be like a tree.
yeah,
Oh.
but I didn't want it to start looking like a cruciform shape. So I was trying to keep it more plaque-like.
Mm-hmm.
We're never bashful, Doug, in terms of suggesting design alternatives. So please bear with us. Hopefully,
Everybody has
we'll come out with a
their
good solution.
I personally feel the sign should be just oversized of what that window is.
Yeah, it's just a little too big. Or
Well, I'm
might too
shooting
big.
for the star. I'm shooting for the stars. So I
Yeah.
understand it may need to be downsized, but design and you know where I'm trying to really show that barber pole for people to see, they're going to see that with a vertical image. They're not going to see it with a horizontal image.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just talk about doing some kind of a scalloped silhouette edge all the way around, and we can reduce a lot of this white area by literally cutting it away, but giving you an architectural profile like a picture frame would do.
Okay.
You know what I mean, Steve?
Yeah, I could. Well, it would be nice to see it drawn up. So, and I
Right.
think before we give approval, it'll have to be.
It will. I agree.
done.
I agree, but I think what we're giving him is some feedback.
Yep.
Good. Well, my alternative about a window box underneath the window might actually help kind of suggest the verticality that the window doesn't. And if we moved it a little bit, if you could move it a little bit more to the right on that wall, you know, give some proportion that makes some sense, even if you have to reduce the height by maybe a half a foot or something like that.
I love the window box idea.
Does Doug?
Mm.
No, really, does Cam?
Yeah, you can put some white and red flowers in the window box to kind of pick up the motif of the barber pole.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Even if they're fake flowers. Anything more, Luba?
It's just that big one where, in terms of the proportions in that facade, it really doesn't have that, how you call it, the sweet area where it should hit. It's almost like doesn't belong there at all.
Ooh.
So what?
I guess what we're saying is the previous sign that you had a certain sense to it that, okay, here's a title for the space that's behind it. And the window was maybe in terms of adding with the shutters and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of like the same proportion. And it made some sense. This, it just kind of overwhelms the space, and it really kind of has to be attached in a way that's not going to say, whoa, you know, that's kind of maybe overpowering. So I'm speaking for the other members, and I hope I'm not overstepping, but if you want to clarify it in your own terms.
I mean, in terms of the proportion, I don't know if this makes a lot of sense, but even if that big square would slide down, so the design proportions of the elements in that elevation, you know, makes some kind of, how you call that? It's like, it looks like somebody thought about it. Like this is like, it was just drawn in there. You know,
Yeah.
Related
I-
to the window, not related to the corner of the house.
I agree. And the top of it should certainly have some kind of relationship to the top of the window, and it just kind of pops up and it kind of slides over, and there's no real, it's not equidistant from the window either. So it's what you're saying, kind of a thoughtless application. Is that what I'm getting from you, Luba? I'm trying to paraphrase.
It's hard to define that, when we're designing something, the way things relate to each other. It has a certain kind of proportion and movement. So maybe if this square would be lower, it would, I think it would be more pleasant. I know
Jen?
it's in your window box idea.
Jen?
Yeah, well, it's definitely needs to move closer to the corner of the building.
Yes.
The window box would give the window piece more height, because you'd read the window box and the window itself as a unit, and then it would relate better to the sign. I think the sign could shrink a little bit, and I would love to explore turning it from a rectangle into some kind of a shape, so that it has maybe a little bit of a curve on the cutouts on the corners, or it has an oval kind of a look, just not a big rectangle.
You're
Yes,
saying
right.
if the corners were chamfered off, it'd probably help, but I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, without sacrificing the font that he'd like to use, but just taking the mask down.
Luba?
Yes, I agree. That would be helpful.
I think we're all on the same page here about a little reduction in size, maybe some adjustment to the overall shape of the sign, with some chamfers on the corner to kind of reduce the mass, and then adjusting the height to bring it down and then closer to the corner. And if you add something to the size of the window, like a window box or some extra frame or something like that, that might help. Doug, I hope these comments are helping you, because whatever it is, it has to be adjusted before we'll approve it, I think. That's the sense I'm getting.
Yeah, it's a good
Okay,
idea.
yeah.
Excuse
me, I'm sorry.
No, I said that, your sign is nicely designed. It's a good idea. It's just the relationship between the sign and that elevation, that is a little troubling. But the sign itself is, in my opinion, it's very nice.
Thank you. The elevation, the reason it being so high up is for people to be able to see it from Yardley Langhorne Road.
Right.
And again, it's, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind if it's in the middle of the building. If we drop the sign just a bit lower to the right, just a little bit, to balance that. Is that what you were looking at?
In my opinion, that would help. Yes.
Okay. Well, how about for the next time I come together, I'll come together with a few of your a new image with a flower box, more curved edges rather than a rectangle, possible oval, and I'll drop the sign just a bit lower on the building so you guys have a visual.
Yeah, you might try and look at the shape with the oval, but I think it might require more relationship to the slope of the roof. So maybe a straight angle cut off on the side, on the corners.
Okay.
Rather than ovular, but see what it suggests. It's kind of the traditional barber pole. So I think you're looking for a traditional look to your signage. So there's certainly, I have to agree that the overall graphics of the sign is very striking, and probably will do exactly what you need. And it
Right.
certainly is nice to see a barber pole out there in front of a business that's all about barbering.
Yeah. I mean, I still would consider the possibility of having sort of a cutout. Um, I don't know, the orthopedist building in the corner where she just has the letters attached to the siding, where you just see the letters individually. So if that would be a possibility of doing the pole and all the letters more as a, I don't know if I'm using the right word, cutout, but
Like
define,
individual letters.
yes. And the pole will be, everything will be sort of like a sculptural element, creating a shadow on top of the elevation. A three-dimensional relief.
Yeah, just the pricing and the three-dimensional, the Di Lorenzo sign, each one was a $5,000 sign. I don't have that budget, and that's what creates the three-dimensional shape is, yeah, that budget's a little beyond me.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Okay, Doug, if you can, if you've made some notes, that'll be a help for you.
Yep.
If you need a quick translation or putting this on paper, I'm sure that as soon as that becomes available in terms of the minutes, you can ask for that from the township. If you want to go back with what you have and come up with some alternatives and distribute them in between now and the next meeting, and we can give you some further feedback. We've been happy to do that with other applicants, so please feel free to take advantage of our input for what it's worth. But I think in terms of giving approval, that's probably not going to happen tonight.
I understand. I appreciate all the feedback, and I will certainly come back with some new ideas for what we came up with today.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Yeah, you also
All right.
have a great, enjoy the rest of the day, everybody.
You too. Bye. So, any other old business?
No old business, but we still have one public comment, I believe.
Oh. I
No,
think
that
that
was just Doug. There's no public comment.
that was Doug.
Okay.
He was
Oh,
misplaced.
okay.
Anybody else have any new business? Any further comments? We can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Any comments? If there are none, let's vote to adjourn by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Nice to see you all.
Thank
We
you.
are adjourned.
Good night.
Good night.